Welcome to the Mach7 podcast, episode number 11. This week, we are the Scooter Patrol.
Scooter Patrol, man!
Travis is here.
Hey, guys.
Stuart making his comeback of kingdoms.
Yeah, I'm just returning from the dead. There's no big deal.
Longtime listener, first-time caller, Ross is here.
Ah.
And I am Andrew. So welcome to the podcast, guys.
I believe
okay.
Travis has a story, and
Wait,
I
okay.
have a story.
Before we get to the drunk stories, there's one thing.
Spoiler alert! Jesus Christ, man.
All right, well, it's what I do now, apparently.
Thanks, man.
If anyone else is surprised that Travis hasn't tried to kill me yet, he hasn't.
If you guys listened last week, you understand.
Yeah, it was really bad. Mistakes were made. So, but first of all, since this is, he's pretending to choke me now. All right. Since this is a video game podcast, I feel like we should start off talking about some video games.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the biggest news story, Minecraft and Mojang bought by Microsoft. So that's
had a huge update.
Who cares about that though?
Oh, did that update come out?
Yeah, 1.8 now. There are rabbits, which...
Occasionally the killer rabbit.
Yeah.
There's the ocean monuments, about 100 different kinds of stone.
I haven't found them yet, though.
Then there's... Well, did you start a new world for it?
I did.
Oh. But you didn't find any ocean monuments?
Not yet.
No, you gotta try harder.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe, like, Ender Eyes will find them? Ender Pearls?
No.
Mm.
Maybe the...
Eyes of Ender.
Yeah, they might.
And I'm a little concerned about the things that Enderman will shit out now. Those little mobs that they might leave when they
Endermites
teleport.
or whatever they
Endermites, yeah, that's the one. That concerns me.
Yeah.
He is very concerned.
So since that's a thing, that's not terribly awful in the overworld, but imagine trying to take on the Ender Dragon when not only do you have to watch out to not look directly at all the Endermen because they're so shy, and to keep your eyes on the Ender Dragon so that it doesn't sneak up behind you and kill you, because that's what he does. You have to watch out not to step on all these little shits walking around.
Yeah, I haven't been to the end yet.
Oh my god, that's...
No, I mean, to the end with the Endermites
new stuff.
yet. No.
That'll be interesting. Yeah. I'm kind of excited about the new Minecraft update. I haven't played in a while, but this is definitely a reason for me to get back into it. I'm probably going to try it at some point.
I took a long break from it, about, 2 months? Yeah, and I'm right back into it again.
Can I have your gamer card? I need to take a corner off for that. You can't
2
stop
months?
You can't stop playing Minecraft.
I went to HeroCraft, not Vanilla. That's what I'm talking about. I played HeroCraft, but I didn't play Vanilla for 2 months.
Yeah.
But more importantly than the actual gameplay,
Shut up.
I'm getting behind the whole...
Microsoft bought Mojang for like $2 billion.
2.5.
Yeah.
They're the Disney of the video game world.
Pretty much.
Basically.
And here's the thing. Some people give Notch a bunch of shit for leaving, like just taking a bunch of money and run. Apparently he's been wanting to leave for a while, but he couldn't because company culture or they need him. And he's been wanting to leave for a while, but now he's finally leaving. And you know what? Notch can take that money and run for all I care.
Seriously.
That dude deserves it at this point. I mean, he could have done that months ago with the Minecraft money. But this is...
This is Microsoft
Do you think he's still
money.
going to get money from Minecraft now?
I'm sure.
It's the
He
Minecraft
made
money.
it. You remember that GIF of Notch on the slippery slide with the paint me like one of your French girls pose going across the screen?
No.
If you haven't seen it, go look it up right now. It's one of the funniest things you've seen in it's funny. Now, he could probably do that with liquid gold, except he'd burn himself. He could probably do that with a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Like hundreds.
Well,
I don't know.
If it was the liquid gold from the Hobbit movie, you'd probably be fine.
Yeah, that's not real gold, though,
Yeah.
probably.
And that scene did not make any sense.
Exactly.
Yeah, all those
That's my
gold,
point.
all those dwarves, they were just mining pyrite. They're not entirely bright.
They didn't have any Ender Eyes either. So.
They didn't. But then they found the stronghold, and it devoured them.
Should have made a Tower of Pimps. Would have protected them.
Where's this going? I don't know.
I have no idea. I
It's-
can find out.
Good fun
There really
fact:
is no
Lord of the
direction.
Rings and Minecraft don't go well together.
No.
Unless you're one of those guys who are like gods of building in Minecraft, which that's another thing. So this was like a couple of years ago that I found out about this, but somebody made essentially a 1 to 2
I've seen it.
of Middle Earth.
There's a YouTube video.
I'll allow it.
And they would take people on tours of this, and they would say, and they would just be walking across the field and say, where are we? We're on our way to Minas Tirith. How long will it take for us to get there? About 2 hours on foot.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Can we teleport there? It's part of the experience!
That's incredible.
It'd take a week to travel through it.
And this was before horses were released, so... That's
You
a thing.
ride for Minas Tirith.
So, do you think you could probably do a pretty good representation of a Lord of the Rings movie, or at least a couple of scenes from you could probably do a lot of the battle for Minas Tirith in Minecraft, almost shot for shot, except maybe those freaking trebuchets. You could probably do most of that.
Don't want to
dragon, all the weird shit that you can do.
Don't want to offend any of the catapult enthusiasts out there.
Yeah,
They're trebuchets, I tell you.
They are a cutthroat.
Yeah,
actually, I think it's a trebuchet. Could you just imagine an Enderman riding the Ender Dragon? Because that would probably what the Nazgul would be.
All right.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
God.
And he can only be killed by the very shortest of Minecraft characters.
No, a skeleton. A skeleton right in the back of that, shooting arrows.
Nazgul don't have arrows. Don't be silly.
Wow.
All right.
They have swords, but Endermen don't have swords.
Oh, man.
We could give
Well.
them swords.
You know, they don't have bows and arrows. But, I mean, they have swords, so it's basically the same thing.
Well, you know.
All right.
If
Good
you
try.
throw a sword.
Yeah.
If you just throw it.
But when did they throw a sword?
You know, all the time.
Yeah.
Except they don't.
You just don't see it because you're turned the other way. When
Right.
you can't see them, it's when they're doing it.
They're like weeping angels.
They're
but
not
with throwing
Jedis,
swords.
guys. They can't just throw their weapons.
Nah, you don't know that.
And
I'm
just-
not a Jedi. I throw weapons all the time.
And boomerang right back to you.
Oh, well, okay, that part's a bit harder.
You didn't mention the boomerang.
Yeah, come on, man.
So, what's next on...
I believe you seem to be trying to segue to something a second ago.
No?
No? Okay.
I don't think so.
Mm.
I thought you guys had more to talk about on the Minecraft thing.
Well,
Minecraft
that
being
was my
sold to
topic. That's the
Microsoft.
only thing I had today, plus
Perfect.
Stuart's story later, so...
All right.
And then my wonderful event that happened of recent, but
That
besides that...
sounds wonderful.
I just
Yeah.
thought it'd be a bigger deal to you guys. I don't know, because you actually play Minecraft. But.
It's kind of a big deal.
If they get a lot more development out.
Okay, here's the thing, though. It's kind of a big deal in the business world. It's not so much of a big deal to the consumer. I mean, unless Microsoft suddenly replaces all the staff on Mojang, which is not going to happen, it's not a big deal for us.
Or decides microtransactions are a good idea.
Oh.
Or something along those
Oh,
lines.
shit. That would be awful.
Like
That would be awful, but it's not going to happen.
paying for
hope
updates and
not.
stuff.
It's not going to happen.
If they wanted to make a lot of money, it would happen.
I'm pretty sure if they tried that, Notch would just walk in with all the swag in the world and just say, no.
Nope. You have your money back.
With his Swedish accent.
But, okay, so one thing that was really interesting, I thought, coming out of this, is that Microsoft said that they're going to continue supporting, like, the PlayStation version. And
Why was that not... Well, I guess Microsoft...
because they're Microsoft. I mean, if they really wanted to make money, why wouldn't they want people to buy their own console? Like
That's
Xbox
true.
or PC
That's actually
to play
pretty
it?
cool of them to continue the
But why
PS3.
alienate people? I mean, that you'd be pissing
I guess
a lot
that's
of
the
people
point.
off.
I guess that is true.
It's a good PR stunt.
Yeah.
It is, exactly. Because, you know,
Yes, because appearing to do something nice is never something nice.
No, not in the business world. Definitely not. So, Ross, how you liking Destiny?
oh, God.
Oh yeah, how was the new Borderlands sequel?
We talked about this. We talked about this last week. Such a late pass. All right, go ahead, Ross.
I'll give him a softball.
All right.
It's his first time on.
So far,
All right,
I
good.
really...
So, Stuart, tell us about your story. We really don't care about this.
don't know if
I'm
anyone-
kidding. You want to tell us about Destiny? Please.
No.
Just
Good.
real quick.
We don't want to
Any-
hear about it either.
Just real quick, like, I don't know if anyone's told you about this, but whenever Brian comes into our room, because me and Ross are roommates now, by some weird twist of fate,
Love that
me
move.
and
Jeff
Brian,
Hardy.
we always say that Destiny is Borderlands, because it's kind of Borderlands. You know, you've got the loot drops, you've got different classes that play extremely uniquely. It's a first-person shooter on an alien world,
Sort of.
sort of.
Most of it's on Earth, but... Earth!
You know,
Go
the
ahead.
loot, the multiplayer, all that stuff, the co-op. Brian actually thought it was Borderlands with a skin or something. Like I don't know. He's out
Halo
of the loop,
skin.
but
I think it's a Halo skin.
that's what I thought when Destiny was coming out. I always equated it to it's Borderlands meets Halo, and
That's
it looks
what it is.
awesome, and it basically is, and it looks awesome. I want to play that sometime, by the way.
I'm going to rent it. That's as much fun I think I'm going to get.
Meanwhile, I am still waiting on my friend James to mail me my copy of Bayonetta, because I lent it to him before I came up here, and I have yet to get it back.
Bayonetta.
All right.
Bayonetta.
That's
It
Stuart's
is-
rant about Bayonetta.
It's like the greatest. I'm not going to get into how great it is because it's the greatest, but
Do you want to tell us what it is?
I mean, we...
Because
alright.
nobody here has ever...
it's
I've never heard of Bayonetta.
game.
so Bayonetta. Just real quick,
I'm not a PC gamer, so I don't know.
it's
mean,
a
it's a
shmup.
360
It's a
game, but-
smash 'em up / shoot 'em up. Where you are Bayonetta, who is a witch, And
a hot witch. You have to include the hot part.
She's classy.
She looks like a
classy.
librarian.
Anyway, so the point is, you kill angels and shit, mostly angels, with a combination of melee combos and guns. The combat basically boils down to you are striking enemies with guns
On your shoes.
Also, her hair makes her clothing. So
Her hair is her clothes.
That's
Clothes are
something.
Her hair, to a degree.
You.
I mean, it doesn't look like her hair until she starts
It's
whipping her
magic
hair
shit.
around. Yeah.
It's magic.
It's
It's
something.
magic witch shit.
Ugh.
Fun fact: Bayonetta 2 only being released on the Wii U. So
Yeah, that's a reason for me to actually get that
That
console.
is
I'm
That's
such
serious.
something.
I
an
want that game. It's
unfortunate
fucking
name.
bad.
The Wii was bad enough, but the Wii U, it
Wii
literally
U.
sounds like
Wii
Nintendo
U.
is pissing on us.
Wii U.
I sold it at Target, and that's about as much as I know about it.
It's
I know the
not
hardware.
that bad. Everyone gives it a bad rap.
It's got HD graphics.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Yes, it's not as good as the Xbox One or the PS4. That's true, but it's still good. It still has some pretty good games, and it's only getting more good games.
And it's relatively affordable, too.
Yes. I have 2 friends back home who have Wii U's. We play Mario Kart 8 on it all the time. It's a good time.
Because their games are only $50, aren't they?
Less even, maybe. I don't know. But
Yeah, I think they start out at 50 compared
but I
to
tell
the
you
60.
what, Monster Hunter. That is where it's at. You could literally play that all day. I have once. It was painful, actually. I didn't eat for about 6 hours.
That sounds like me and Minecraft.
Monster Hunter is the greatest. Also Bayonetta, all the greatest.
Super Smash Brothers coming out soon.
Oh, new Smash! I'm so excited!
How is that even going to work? I mean, I don't know too much about the Wii U, but isn't it like almost like a half
That is
handheld,
okay.
half TV?
Here's the thing: the Wii U does come with the tablet controller, but that is one controller, and you don't need any more tablets than that. If any game requires a tablet, it will only need one of them, and it's usually for asymmetrical gameplay. Like there's a Nintendo Land game, which is sort of like a bunch of mini games in one game. And one of the games is Luigi's Mansion. One person has the tablet, they're playing the Ghost, and everyone else is walking around with whatchamacallit 3000s, walking around trying to get the Ghost and see the Ghost. And the person on the screen can see everything, and people on the people with trying to get the Ghost, they can't see everything. So, it's you see where I'm going with this.
Yes.
So
I've seen
Ghost
people
wins if
play
they
that.
get everybody. If everyone else gets got, they lose.
They lose. Yeah, I've seen people play that and they have loads of fun.
But okay, so my point is, you don't need the tablet for all games, and most games and all games that need it only need one. And they also have the Pro Controller, which looks a lot like an Xbox controller. 2 analog sticks, X, A, B, Y, all that stuff.
The A and B and the X and Y are like switched though, and that's really obnoxious.
Yeah. And then they've got a classic controller, which is not necessary. I mean, really, the 4 Pro controllers is basically all you need.
Yeah.
It's all you need. And with Bayonetta coming out on Wii U, not only are they doing that exclusively on Wii U, which is it's going to be the greatest thing ever, they were bundling it with Bayonetta 1 and including a bunch of Nintendo skins for the game. Like you'd have Bayonetta in Link's outfit or Peach's dress or shit like that, and it adds like unique stuff to the game. Like you might get a new combo set, and when she's wearing when you put her in the Samus skin, you can morph ball around.
It's actually kind of cool.
With the Link skin, enemies instead of exploding into halos, they were exploding into rupees.
Nice.
There's this thing called in Bayonetta called Wicked Weaves, which is basically she throws a punch and a demon punches through the fabric of the universe at the same time. How do I explain this? So
Look on Travis's face is fantastic right now.
Because
Travis is
realism
so
has
flabbergasted and weirded out. So one of the main things with Bayonetta in gameplay is that it's called Wicked Weaves, and basically Bayonetta throws a punch, and at the same time, a bound demon from hell is summoned through a portal to punch with the same movement. And you do this in combos, as finishers, as this is how you suplex a fucking dragon in a boss fight. Because that happens. And one of the skins is with the Princess Peach skin. The Wicked Weaves, rather than Demon's Fists, become Bowser's Fists. It's silly shit.
Cool.
It's hilarious.
So is Bayonetta then like part of the Nintendo canon? Like, should she be in the new Smash Bros?
That is something that has been hotly debated among people, and I sincerely wished that she was going to be on the roster, but no. Apparently the rumor is that since they got the rights for Bayonetta like a long time ago, they were going to put her in the new Smash, but they ended up saying, nah, not so much. Let's go with Wii Fit Trainer instead. Like,
what a terrible decision.
Bayonetta's model turned into Wii Fit Trainer, and they just decided going in that direction. At least that's the rumor. But oh my god, Bayonetta in Smash would be like a dream come true for any Bayonetta fan.
Bayonetta. All right, could try that word again.
Dude, she's the combo. She's made of combos.
Yeah, Bayonetta makes so much more sense in Smash than Wii Fit Trainer.
This is true.
I don't understand.
This is true.
They're trying to reach certain demographics, like
they should reach the
crazy
Bayonetta
people that
demographic.
only use the Wii as an exercise thing.
Yeah, those are crazy
Yeah.
people. Oh my god. And when you talk about demographics, how many adult men played Nintendo games? Actually, a lot.
A lot.
Like
Mario Kart 8.
Everyone in my house.
Mario Kart 8 is a fantastic game at parties.
Nintendo is great at parties.
This
in
is
general.
true. And Smash especially.
No.
And so here's the thing with Smash and Bayonetta. Bayonetta is a mature rated game because I don't know if you know this, Travis. You probably don't know this.
I don't know it.
Bayonetta
Is hot.
Shut up. That's not. No.
That's
Stop.
why it's rated.
You're ruining
That's
everything.
why it's rated M.
She's
Because she's nude.
no.
Oh,
Yes,
then who?
no.
Partially.
Okay, wait. Is it yes or no? 'Cause there's
Let
a
me
clear-
explain this. Let me
clear
explain
yes
this.
and a clear no.
Let me explain this. Bayonetta is sexualized in a hilarious way. Are you familiar with Devil May Cry?
You're actually not wrong.
Ish.
Yeah.
How do I explain this? I can't recall many specific lines, but she's always dragging along this other guy, and it's just all these innuendos thrown around, and
Most songs are
she literally always has a lollipop with her. She struts around like a dancer. A lot of her combos look like she's doing pole dancing. In the credits, she is pole dancing.
Why do I not have this game?
Why do you not have this game? It is the greatest thing. Okay, when I get this in the mail, when I finally get this, I need to use your Xbox, Ross, and you need to come over and play Bayonetta because it is the greatest thing. High five.
From the moment you started to describe that game, I thought Lollipop Chainsaw, because that literally was what Lollipop Chainsaw is. She drags her guy, who's actually just a head around.
Okay, that's
she
literal.
She fights like she's in like a strip club. There's actually a scene in the game where she is actually pole dancing.
Ross, you played this game?
And it's
No.
voiced by Tara Strong, by the way.
who that
Modeled
is.
by Jessica Negri.
I don't know who any of those people are.
You need to be
But
more
the
educated.
internet does, and
You
so
know who
does
else is
Google
modeled like
and
Jessica Negri?
Wikipedia.
Who?
Cinder from
Yes.
And, most recent episode.
You know who else is voiced by Tara
Oh.
Strong? Raven from Teen Titans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Omi from Shaolin Showdown.
Yeah.
Also, Kimiko from Shaolin Showdown.
All right.
Also, a lot of people.
Shout out to Tara Strong.
Hey,
She's like the Nolan North of
Voice
cartoons.
actresses.
Yeah.
Ross, go ahead and tell us a story. You haven't been able to talk a lot yet on this podcast.
Do you actually want to say what your opinion of Destiny is, or?
do you want to defend yourself?
I
Your Honor?
would very much like to finish my points on Destiny.
All right, please do.
Absolutely. As sound editor, I want to hear every bit of part right now because it's going to get taken. No, I just can't.
Don't abuse your power, Travis. I'm giving you this responsibility.
It's a privilege, not a right.
You're not giving me the responsibility of it. You're forced to just.
Look.
I get it by default.
Look, all right, that story will be later. Ross, please continue.
Behind the scenes.
Well, I have played Destiny for several days since it came out, and
And you're done.
No,
Oh.
but that's kind of what the point I'm trying to get to is. Destiny will either succeed or fail depending on what they add in. Because right now, in my honest opinion, the point where the game has suffered the most is its story arc, being that there is little to none.
That is unfortunate.
You start off
Interesting. Please continue.
as a character. You don't get to name the character.
What?
You don't actually get to be the character, like going around talking to people in the world. And there, after the initial scene where you, initial time when you create the character, there are only 5 times later when that character actually speaks.
Oh, fuck that.
That's what I'm saying. Is it all depends on what gets added on, because throughout the story, which I don't really want to spoil because it actually is a pretty good story, despite the fact.
I'm fine with spoiling it.
Go ahead.
Despite-
I don't know it.
Despite
Oh boy.
despite the fact, is if because during that part of the story they hint about a lot of different things that could happen. There are several different factions, and I would very much like to learn more about these factions. But there are very few opportunities within the gameplay itself where you can actually explore that.
Yeah, and I think that's because, Destiny, Bungie themselves said that they want this game to have a 10-year lifespan, right?
10 years is a little ambitious, but
I don't think it's going to go past 10 weeks.
When I heard Matt say that.
You did not hear me last week on the podcast, obviously.
It was pretty bad. When I heard Matt say that, like 2 weeks or whatever before it came out, I was like, yeah, I don't want to be playing the same game for 10 years.
Call of Duty, they've done it.
Well, that's true. You're not wrong.
Millions of people have done that with Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Millions.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's not wrong,
Yeah,
man.
you're totally right. You're not wrong, sir.
Except, those
but
people
continue,
have no
please.
taste.
It's true.
My the second point about Destiny, which is going to be much better, is the gameplay is awesome. The controls are very easy to get into, to the point where you like in a really good game when you don't even think, oh, I'm pressing A, you think, oh, jump, do this, do that. It's a very if you like playing Halo, if you're used to playing the Halo system, you will be able to jump into this very easily and feel very much at home. The abilities that you can give your characters are very varied. There's many different things you can do. You can tweak and adjust it to however you want until it's just how you like it. And there are a ton of different weapons.
How's that hand cannon, though?
That hand cannon is my favorite weapon.
I wonder why. Because he literally, I have seen you use a weapon other than a hand cannon twice. And that was only because you were either out of ammo and didn't have time to reload it, or you were straight up out of ammo for it.
The hand cannon is the best because it can do headshots like no other weapon can.
Well,
What about the sniper rifle?
The sniper rifle is actually the only drawback I've found for any of the weapons is a sniper rifle. There is no non-zoomed scope. There's not even a small. There's no chance to really hit anybody unless you're zoomed in.
Yeah, realism.
No elephant rifle? Okay.
There's no scope?
There is
What kind of Bungie game is
if
this?
you try to no scope, you are literally shooting in the dark because there is just this.
So you're shooting in the hip. You can't aim and not do a zoom and not be zooming in like a motherfucker.
Gameplay. Graphics wise, it is very good. All the worlds are different and vibrant. I kind of wish some of the maps were bigger because once you got your Sparrow and you're driving around with that, which actually that's it. I love the Sparrow. Like the driving around with that is just so much fun. It's organic and you're like zooming and weaving all around. But again, if there was a chance to like customize it, give it like abilities and shit, that would be awesome. But it doesn't appear so far that you can. And getting a hold of new and better ones is
okay. But here's one thing I have a gripe with, is that this is Bungie, right? Mm-hmm. These guys made Halo, right?
No.
Halo.
Oh, missed that one. Can we go back?
Where have you been?
So this is Bungie. These are the guys that made Halo. But Halo, what's one thing that Halo has in like every Halo game? It's a vehicle section.
The Warthog.
The Warthog, the Scarab. You hijack a Wraith and go like 10 minutes in it and just blow up everything. Destiny has no vehicle sections.
There are vehicles, but they're only accessible in certain areas, and they are... I don't even think they have names. I have never heard anybody call anybody...
I think they do have names. I've seen people use them in like the competitive multiplayer, and I don't remember what they're called.
I don't think that counts towards a vehicle section, though.
It doesn't, but...
It doesn't.
What is it? There's the Revenant vehicle, and there is the Ghost/Chopper vehicle.
Oh,
yes.
Wow. Sounds like they really went...
Original
names.
Well, the Revenant one is a lot. As I say, it's like the Revenant. It's relatively slower.
Okay. I thought it was called that. I'm like, really?
It's relatively slower, and it fires like cannon shots. And then the other one is faster and shoots. Has a fast rate of fire. And I think it looks kind of like a chopper, but I think it drives like a Ghost more.
And the Sparrow, which is the speeder bike from Star Wars.
Yes.
Except not janky shit.
But yeah, driving around in a Sparrow is just very awesome.
I thought it was really cool. Okay, There's one cool thing I will like about Destiny is that you
Only
can
one?
just basically is that you can summon a vehicle out of nowhere. Like
That is nice.
That's really
Yeah.
cool. That's really neat, and like it's a fast, agile thing. I like that.
I'm kind of upset that you can't name your character.
That
I mean,
was
you can customize like everything about their face, and
I
you
don't
can
really
take
care
whatever
about
armor.
that.
But you can't name. Okay, Borderlands, you can name your character. Okay, name your character. Yes, it's Axon or Gage or Krieg the Psycho, but you get to name them. I can't get none of them.
I guess that's
it's
the value
there
of it.
when you are designing a character and creating a character in a game. There is a relationship.
Ross,
And
are you familiar
if you
with how much they
can't-
spent on this game?
Hmm?
Are you familiar with how much they spent on this game? What their budget was?
No.
$500 million.
Oh my god!
Let me ask you, with that in mind, do you think this game, being the first game that Bungie put out since Halo, do you think it was worth the $500 million?
What I think is the
Did they use their money well?
Could they spend it better?
depends what they do next.
Well, I'm saying with what they did right now.
$500 million in development for this game.
I mean, that's
They
like some
probably
movies.
should have paid more writers and voice actors.
Yeah, I heard Dinklebot doesn't really care at all.
Dinklebot's a little disappointing,
Like-
in my opinion.
I
So
agree.
Peter Dinklage is like the main source of the story in that game.
And
Like
dialogue, he's
he's
like the only one who talks for
Yeah.
about 80% of the game.
he's like the main point of contact with anything else that's happening in the world.
That
And-
wizard's from the moon.
And apparently he sort of phoned it in on most of his lines.
I mean, I get an
didn't like the idea
apathetic
that
AI
Dinklebot-
type, but at least okay, even an apathetic AI character, you have to put some energy into.
Yeah.
You gotta. It takes a bit of energy to be this apathetic. But yeah, it kind of sounds like you phoned it in.
Yeah.
Like I get that he's a robot and maybe he wasn't programmed with emotions, but
Okay,
I mean,
but if
come
you
on.
have dialogue, let's see if I can rub some sticks together, and by sticks I mean bunch of technical shit. If you have an AI with the freedom to say to use those words in casual context, you have enough freedom to have inflections to make it sound like you're not just getting paid for this.
I think if you could go with a
agree.
high roller like him, then, like, it's, you know,
nah, high roller.
yeah.
Funny because
For
he's
Nolan
short.
North.
I wouldn't go with him for it. Honestly.
Okay,
I wouldn't go with Nolan North either.
neither would
That's
I,
kinda
but
lame.
I'm just saying.
One thing I found a little weird when playing through Destiny is there's options because the
Like
character
display
that you're talking
options,
about,
or-
the AI. It's called
Oh.
they're called ghosts, and there's an option like there's like an inventory section for ghosts. But nowhere have I ever seen in the game, and I've played through the entirety of the story and done a lot of multiplayer, I have never seen one opportunity where you can actually get a different ghost, despite the fact there's an inventory section
yeah.
for ghosts.
I think there was a pre-order bonus or something where you could get. It's basically just a different skin. Like it's not even like a different model or anything.
Just a different texture pack for that?
Basically,
That's a bunch of bullshit. But you know what they really should do is, even if just for multiplayer matches, just like simple co-op or competitive maps, just hire another voice actor. Get Nathan Fillion in on this. I don't care.
I think what they're afraid of is that they were afraid of it being 343 Guilty Spark. If you had somebody that was that witty and apathetic towards you, I mean,
But
that's
doesn't Bungie own
343.
Guilty Spark though? If they made
No,
Halo?
probably not.
not if they.
Or did
Not-
they give
they-
it all to 343?
I'm sure they
I
gave
thought
it all-
343
well-
only just made Halo 4 and are making the new Halo anniversary game.
Well, I think what they did is they gave it to Microsoft, and so now Microsoft is saying, "Hey, 343, you should make us a game."
Does Microsoft own Bungie?
Not anymore.
Bungie its own
No, that's
What
that's
happened
the whole thing that
originally
happened.
when Bungie made Halo, they had made a deal with Microsoft that they would make such and so many games, and after that they would be allowed to
themselves
leave at Microsoft and be their own company. Well, after Halo Reach, that's what they did. However, Microsoft still owned Halo, so as a almost like a kind of like a deal between them, they collectively created 343 as their kind of stand-in company within Microsoft while they went off to do their own thing.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Even so, I get that you don't want to step on Guilty Spark, but that's not really an issue if you can just come up with an original character. That's not too hard. But, okay, bottom line, Dinklage kind of messed it up.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't
As-
like
as-
Dinklage.
as
I think
far
I
he's
like
as-
how this conversation is going compared to last week.
I know.
I
we have the
love
person
Din-
who was supposed to be for it.
I love
this week.
Dinklage. I love the Dinklage. I do,
I'm talking
but
about
not
Destiny.
for this.
I'm talking about Destiny in general.
Well, my main point is it was very apparent from the start that this is just the first part of what they're trying to do. The story, it heavily hints at that there's more to come. There's still a lot of mystery about what this is all about. Like, I want to know more about the Traveler and the Awoken and the Vex. But at the same time, it's like, if this is just the first part, well, when's the next part coming out? How do we continue the story? Because apparently there's like some big package DLC coming, but it's almost like, hey, it's like Game of Thrones, like the dragons and the zombies are coming. You just have to wait. And
So was it worth $60 for the intro? Or would you rather spend $10 for a 7-day rental?
For the gameplay, for the graphics, for what we've got so far, I believe it's got a lot of play power, but as far as the story goes and story mode, there's not a whole lot to keep you invested yet.
My
and
question
yet,
is,
being
redoing
the
it
main
over,
term.
would you rent it for 7 days for $10, let's say, or would you buy it over again? If you could redo it over, nobody's holding anything against you. I
would buy it because I do believe that Bungie can make this a very good thing, and I support them.
Are you, like, when you're talking about more DLC coming, all I'm starting to think is a brand new EA coming. Where they're like, let's put out a skeleton game, let's give them 3 maps, and then if you want to get new maps every single time.
Well, when I say DLC for this game, I'm talking like Skyrim DLC.
Like an expansion
it's an entirely new, like
what DLC should be.
An entire new area to
But
explore.
on console games, that's not always great. It has a bad history.
See, it used to be you could get an expansion pack.
Yes.
Warcraft 3, the Frozen Throne expansion. That's a whole new campaign. It's a whole other thing. New maps, new everything. It adds on to the game. It's almost an entirely new game in its own right.
Halo ODST.
Yeah.
That was a retail game, though. Yeah.
Sort of.
But it's not exactly the same thing.
But
it was Halo 3 ODST.
Now it's just map packs or gun packs or Saints Row. I'm upset with Saints Row.
Saints Row was terrible for DLC.
Oh my god. DLC, they have a couple of campaigns, and then they have every 2 months they release new item packs that have 4 items, a few new clothes, maybe another car, maybe another weapon, and it's $3 every time. They do this every 2 months. They've been doing this since Saints Row the Third came out on Steam, and it upsets me. Even though there's a couple of them that I kind of want to get, but no, I haven't. I'm not that shallow. At least I try not to be.
Yeah, I think they're trying to make Destiny more like one of the a large scale MMO like World of Warcraft, where they're releasing big scale expansion packs rather than small DLC packs.
Here's the thing about the multiplayer. How much multiplayer do you get organically? Because isn't a part of that you can join other people's worlds and other people can join yours?
In
Destiny.
The way the multiplayer works is once you reach a certain level, you are allowed to fight in the Crucible. And there are several different types of fighting in there. There's the Rumble, Clash, Zone 1, I can't remember what it's called. And once you get to that point, you can play that as much as you want and earn Crucible points. And those points can be spent on better armor, better weapons, the usual. And as far as the multiplayer goes, there's no real limit on what you can do, what you can do once right off the bat. Because if you're I think it's level 8 or something like that when you can get into the Crucible. Don't quote me on that. But after that, you're fighting people from that level up to the cap, which I'm not entirely sure what the cap is right now. I've seen everything from 24 to 27.
I think the way I saw it explained is that the actual level cap through experience is 20, but then you can get certain pieces of equipment that give you extra levels or something. It's called light or something.
One thing that really kind of irks me because the whole who gets that armor seems kind of random.
Yeah.
Or you have to play so freaking much that one thing that I didn't like about Elder Scrolls Online was buying stuff is basically pointless because you get so little money from fighting and costs so much to buy anything.
Andrew, I know what
and
that's about.
So far I've played a bunch of multiplayer, and I don't even think I've reached rank 1 multiplayer. and you have to be ranked 2 in order to buy anything worthwhile, and they cost a ton each. So if I wanted to buy anything from the multiplayer, I'd have to play literally for like the next week straight in order to get anything worthwhile.
Quality game.
I would say that it might be worth the $500 million because now they have a framework. Now they have their own engine. Now they have this basis to put everything on, and that might explain why it was $500 million. But if it was a standalone game, that might be $200 at the most. But 500, that's towards building up everything else.
Which I'm not saying that I right now my main character is level 21, but again it's like there's people level 27 just by putting on armor, which from my point of view is kind of distributed kind of randomly.
Have you tried the raid yet?
No.
Okay. Apparently like 5 hours after this raid was released, which I don't really know what it is. I guess it's like a super long dungeon or something. After 5 hours, nobody had beaten it, and one of my roommates who's playing it, he says it takes like 11 hours to complete.
Oh my god!
They'll save your progress within the raid for like a week at a time because you probably can't do it in one sitting.
That's
challenge accepted.
Crazy.
A, challenge accepted. B, that's horrifying.
I know. I'm like,
that's like
glad I'm not doing
World
that.
of Warcraft shit right there.
Yeah.
That's oof.
Exactly.
Oof.
So yeah,
of 21.
Destiny. Here we go. This ought to be good.
Recently, Stuart just turned of age to consume alcohol in the United States.
I recently had a birthday, everybody.
So,
and here's the thing. I turned 21 on a Friday.
Oh,
What are the odds of that? Well, actually 1 in 7, so...
you're not wrong.
So I would like Stuart to tell us a story from his point of view to start out with.
Oh boy.
Of what happened that evening, and I will fill in all of the muddy details.
Story time.
You were also drunk, so we'll see how that
I was
those
not
details
drunk.
go.
I was barely buzzed.
You shut up.
Double B?
So I turned 21, and a couple days before that, Travis had offered to take me... Okay, when I turned 21. He had offered to take me to the KBC, the Keweenaw Brewing Company, and buy me my first beer. And apparently my second.
And third, and fourth. Yeah, let's just stop naming numbers.
And so, me, Travis, and Maggie, we all walked down to the KBC, and we tried alcohol. Well, me and Travis.
Travis and I, please. This podcast requires good grammar.
I'm so sorry, sir. Please don't whip me. So,
I'm not Michael. I don't have the southern...
my dad
Don't know what's wrong
had
with
sent
that.
me a card for my birthday, and in it, he had said, go to the KBC, go to the Keweenaw Brewing Company, and order a Widowmaker. Not just one, he says. Happy 21st. And so, I have 2 people wanting me to go to the KBC, and I have specific instructions to get the Widowmaker. Which, that kind of sounds intimidating, because he's never drank alcohol before.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, we go to the KBC, I get a Widowmaker. Travis and I both get Widowmakers, and I drink like half of it in one go, and I'm just like...
What?
Nothing. Keep going.
And so, just, oh boy.
The moment it was in your mouth, you swallow, you're like, I'm drunk. And I'm like, I can guarantee you're not. You're like, how fast does it take to act? And I'm like, probably a little bit longer than that.
Okay, see, here's the thing. I had heard somewhere, I don't know where from, and this is probably wrong, that alcohol can take as little as, not always, as little as 30 seconds to get to your brain. This is clearly not true.
But in your frame of mind.
But in my state of mind, in my experience, in my psychosomatic bullshit brain of mine,
his level of excitedness
is like, oh hey, alcohol. I'm drunk.
The placebo effect, everybody.
fantastic.
Just a little bit. But, after a little talking, a little conversation, how's alcohol? It tastes kind of good and bad. I settle down a little bit, and then it starts to hit. After 10 minutes, I'm like, I get boisterous, I get a bit silly. All this, Fun Stuart comes out.
Oh, good.
Drunk Stuart is Fun Stuart, we found out. And
Nice.
I was scared about this.
Yeah.
I was scared to find out what Drunk Stuart was like. Am I going to be an asshole? Am I going to be that sad guy? Am I going to be the guy who gets really angry at people for no reason? No. Drunk Stuart's fun. I told Travis about Shadowrun, what that's about.
I'm impressed by the amount that he remembers. This is great.
That's about all I remember. I remember bits and pieces, but then again, there's not much that you really need to remember about most conversations. It's, the important bits, and that's just one thing that stuck out to me was me telling you guys about Shadowrun and talking about how's the beer, how's that one taste, how's this other one taste. It's good and bad. This one's awful though. Which one's the easiest to drink? The pickaxe.
And you didn't make it all the way through it.
Oh, shut up! I made it through the pickaxe. I drank it.
Yeah,
Diamond or
you did?
Copper.
oh, okay.
Wait.
Iron?
If anything, it was a wooden pickaxe because it was brown. So shut up.
Just forget about
See, I drank so I had 3 drinks at the KBC: the Widowmaker, the Red Jacket, and the pickaxe. I drank all 3 of those and had a bunch of water to go with it, as Maggie referred to it as. Drink your water, Stuart. Drink your water.
And he did great job with his water too.
I wanted to drink more water than alcohol that night.
And we allowed you after the first few beers.
Yeah, this motherfucker withheld water from me. To say, drink your beer,
Wow.
then you get your water, and that's when I broke out. No beer until you finish your whiskey. There are sober kids in China who would love to have that.
What is happening?
I would love to take credit for that, but that's the last comic standing bit that I don't remember who said it, so I can't plug them properly. If you're out there and if you're listening, what are you doing here?
It'll be in the link though.
What are you doing with your life?
But we finished up at the KBC. How many drinks did you have, Travis? 2 there?
I had 3.
You had 3.
I was
Okay.
matching you. I was 1 for 1
Except
with
you were
friend.
doing much better than I was.
Well, I feel I have a little.
Some
more
might call me
experience.
a lightweight. I might call me inexperienced.
Same thing, really.
Some might call you
Others will call
floundering
you
on the street.
both.
So we finish up at the KBC. We take a walk down the street because it's Houghton. You can walk pretty much anywhere in Houghton, in downtown Houghton.
When it's not winter, yeah.
When it's not winter, except I walk to and from work in a blizzard, and that's
Yeah.
the thing. 25
Well,
minutes, bitch, please.
Normal people won't. Crazy people still might.
Hey, you gotta be a little bit crazy to go to college, right? So
guess.
we finish up at the KBC. We take a walk down the street, and we go to Jimmy John's. Guess where I work? I work at Jimmy John's. So I walk in the door, just a bit stumbly.
Before that, I want to proceed this with.
Go on
The
ahead.
whole time we were walking there, he's like, "So what do I say to my coworkers? Do I go in and just say I'm drunk, or do I go in and say, Hey guys, it's my 21st birthday?" And you just gotta come up with different scenarios, where it's like, just go with what's natural.
But you couldn't come up with an intro? I'm
Maybe
mad.
he needs to be under
He
the
wasn't fun,
influence.
Stuart.
Right.
So
Yeah,
now.
good point.
He was fun. He's not.
Shut up.
Could have been.
And so we went into the Jimmy John's.
So I stumbled into Jimmy John's after this guy. You kept getting stopped by girls on the street. I don't know what this was about. We'll talk about that later.
Sorry about it. It's a Travis effect.
So I stumble into Jimmy John's, and the first thing I say, I address everyone, and first off, I take a quick look around, and see, are there any customers in here? Am I going to embarrass myself and my coworkers by doing this? No? Okay. Guess who's 21, everybody? I get some claps. My boss is like, yeah!
Who's your boss?
You don't know him?
But what did he look like?
He was the one with the sleeve on his arm because he has a
Okay.
bunch of tattoos.
Yep.
Daryl.
I didn't realize your boss was there. Everybody looked pretty young, so.
Well, there's always a manager on staff. Don't you work places?
No.
Well, I worked at Target, but
What is work?
they look a little bit older than me.
I don't know. Anyway,
This is my job. I'm dedicated to it.
so
That eye roll right there. Just shut up, Andrew.
I've become Mike.
we
Shut up, Andrew.
He is definitely like Mike right now.
Twice in a row.
Mike is someone from the Internet Box podcast where whenever he talks, everyone responds with absolute dead silence because he's kind of obnoxious. All right, go on.
So we stop at Jimmy John's and we walk in and I'm like, I'm 21, everybody. So we all get sandwiches and the men's room was locked for whatever reason, except it wasn't.
So we had to use the women's restroom.
Yeah, that was the
At
thing.
which point, when I came out, there was a girl going in, and she gave me the worst look in my life I've ever gotten. Like,
Death
what are you
stare.
doing in there?
I mean,
in there.
did you explain what the situation was?
I feel
or-
like that makes it more awkward, especially if you start stumbling with it. I just
Especially
guess.
when you're drunk.
I just owned it.
I keep
owned it.
I keep thinking that this is like irrational minds in this situation, where clearly it's not.
When you don't know what to say to a girl, don't.
Yeah. Well, I figured. What do I say at that point? Just check and make sure it's okay. Your turn. I mean, what do you really say?
You just say that.
I'm
that-
just
never mind.
scrounging
Go on.
around. So we stop in Jimmy John's. We order some sandwiches. We eat some sandwiches. We drink some soda.
Sandwiches?
No, we don't drink some sandwiches. Shut the fuck up.
Slamming Sammy's. Go on. Happened again.
What the fuck was that, Andrew?
Rachel Ray calls her sandwiches Slamming Sammy's.
Who watches Rachel Ray?
Who watches Rachel Ray?
This guy.
Andrew Blanchard from the Internet Box Podcast. All right, go on.
That's gross.
So you were drinking sandwiches.
And most of the time that we were at Jimmy John's, I was just eating my sandwich, eating my sandwich, while my coworker, Robert, a.k.a. Foxy J, a.k.a.
Wait, what?
a.k.a. Giggle Biscuit,
All right, I'll allow that.
is telling Andrew and Maggie stories of different times that he's
Yeah, I was there.
done stupid shit or accidentally got
didn't
blackout
realize he
drunk
meant
when he was
I
12.
don't think he did.
Have you? Yeah, apparently, you have not met someone interesting until you've met the guy who got blackout drunk by accident when he was 12.
Well, given he was 12, he probably didn't drink that much.
Story is, apparently, his
I just
mom
asked
had
Stuart how
made...
much he drank and he almost blacked out.
Yeah.
So.
I did not black out, shut up.
He was definitely mostly coherent that night.
Yeah, he was doing really well.
Do you want to hear that story about the blackout drunk?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's hear
Absolutely
that
we do.
story. So, this is me telling someone else's story. Let's hope I do it any justice at all.
I'm sure it'll
He
be
tells it
fine.
much better. Because it's his story. So, one day, Robert's mom makes 2 batches of margaritas. Blackout margaritas and virgin margaritas. Puts them in the same kind of pitcher, puts them on the same shelf in the fridge.
I like where this is going already.
And his mom has some friends over, and they have a few of the blackout margaritas, and they're just a little, and then Robert opens the door, wanting to get at some of them virgin margaritas, and he just calls, "Mom, which one's the virgin margaritas?" "The one in the pitcher." Okay, fuck it. He just picks one, goes over to play his video games, just takes pretty much the whole pitcher with him. Goes over to play some video games, drinks like a third of it in one go, puts it down, like, oh, that tasted kind of, what was in that? Whatever. Play some more video games. And then a while later, he just chugs the rest of it. And then gone. Just gone. He comes to, laying on his bed the next morning, he stands up, turns around, and everything in his room is different.
What?
Apparently, when he was drunk, he got super organized. He cleaned his room and organized his room, and to this day, he cannot find some of the things that he lost in that process.
That's scary.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
So, make sure you know which is the black and which is the virgin. Yeah. Fun story. So,
Mach7 Podcast.
So
bringing
after
you,
we had
well,
some
stories.
story time with Foxy J, we left Jimmy John's, and Travis took us to a frat house where
It was a house social gathering.
it was a social gathering. It was a party.
Which house was it? Okay, sure. I don't know what that is.
It's not
know.
frat.
Yes, no.
I got
Including
you.
me, I don't know. So we went there, and mostly I kind of just sat there next to Maggie, and we kind of just hung out.
I got you into beer pong.
Okay, that was
A blast.
that was kind of fun. It was water, not beer, and I quit halfway through. I was like,
That's
I'm
right.
not feeling it, you guys.
I would drink water.
I'm gonna just
People's
sit
dirty
down.
ping pong stuff on them.
So yeah, this guy had a lot of fun though. This guy right here, he had a blast. He did a little dancing. He had some beer pong.
I had fun just taking you out that whole night.
He took a 2-minute video of me sitting there asking me, "So how's alcohol, Stuart?" It's good and bad for different reasons.
Can you please upload that video and
I probably
we'll
can.
put it in the
I
link?
still have it on my phone.
Please?
Oh yes, on his phone.
Please?
I hate you forever.
I'll need that video.
He also got about 30 seconds recording of me taking my first drink.
I did.
And
Yeah.
it was, oof. Oh boy.
I feel like these are things that need to be shown to the
When you
world.
were placebo drunk?
Yeah, about that time. Yeah.
Just for the first 5 seconds.
It was a good night.
Ugh.
Sounds fantastic.
But that beer at the frat house was awful.
The Labatt.
Is that what it was?
It was Labatt.
What is Labatt?
It's Canadian beer.
You know.
Okay, fun
So
fact. I don't
it
like
should have
Canadian
been
beer.
Spanish
safe
baseball
and
bat.
polite and non-threatening.
Well,
Except
he-
it was...
I kind of, ruined his first experience by taking him to the microbrew. One of the best microbrews in the state of Michigan.
Wait, how does that ruin the experience?
Because now
I
everything
take
else is
you-
going to be worse.
Okay, I bring you
Wait.
to a nice steakhouse, and you get a very nice meal.
Yes.
And then after that, I bring you to McDonald's.
Well, I don't see the comparison. McDonald's is delicious. I see your
He
point.
built you up so that you would be disappointed later.
I did not like that beer at the frat house. It straight up did not
Well,
taste
because
good.
I gave you good beer beforehand. That's the thing.
Then what's the point of drinking bad beer?
Because by that time, you shouldn't be able to taste the bad beer.
Okay.
Which means you didn't drink enough at the brewery.
Exactly.
Stuart's only gonna drink Widowmakers from now
That
on.
just seems counterintuitive and dangerous that you would drink until you can't taste anymore.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we stopped at Jimmy John's.
What?
To get food,
You get food.
so you don't die.
Delicious food.
Alcohol poisoning, it's a
Jimmy
real
John's is
problem.
delicious. It actually is. I'm not plugging it or anything. It's actually delicious.
Alright.
But I am plugging it, so.
Not plugging it, but I'm plugging it.
I may have had Jimmy John's maybe twice.
I maybe had it twice in the last week.
So, does Maggie listen to the podcast?
I don't know, but
Tell her
if she
to.
does, this will be silly as shit.
You want to tell us a little about Maggie?
Maggie is a friend of mine who lives on the 5th floor while I live on the 1st floor, and
Ross held up the number 1 for some reason. As if,
First floor is the best.
okay.
then Ryan, shirtless Ryan, decides to make it super
all.
fucking weird. Okay, so we've sat on the couch next to each other during some movies and social gatherings in Brian's room. And Ryan's just super fucking weird about it. But he's funny about it too, so I can't entirely blame him. Like, he's just so blatant with, you two should fuck or something.
Wow.
He's so blatant with it. It's so fucking hilarious. There was one time, we're all sitting in Brian's room. I think Brian's playing Space Engineers. I think Noah's playing Civ or something. I don't know what's going on. It was like 2 weeks ago. Me and Maggie are sitting on the couch. Ryan sits next to us. After watching some South Park, he straight up watches some porn.
Wow.
And here's the best part. It's not just any porn.
Oh,
This
God.
is why he did it, because it's funny. It's funny porn because it is Biocock intimate.
What the heck? What has this podcast become?
I don't know.
Remember when we talked about video games? Those were the days.
It is become a
Well,
plug
I mean,
for
it's
the
kind of bringing
party.
it back around, Bioshock, and
Yeah, you
Okay,
got
sure.
a point. You got a point. It's machinimation.
it's an animation. It's a flash animation, and all of the dialogue is taken straight from the game and cut in the most perfect ways, and it is hilarious.
Love it.
Don't look it up.
I'm not going to. Absolutely not.
Yeah, he's just plopped down on the couch and just watches that shit in front of us because it's funny. Yeah.
So what happened? So after we were at the social gathering, I brought you back.
Oh yeah.
What happened there? Because I tried texting you and asking you, but trying to get answers from you.
I think Maggie still had my phone at that point.
Oh, okay. Because I texted you the next day. I was like, "How you doing, buddy?"
Like,
And you're
yeah,
like,
I drank my water.
I said, "Okay," and
No hangover. Hey, sweet.
yeah, I didn't even get that much from you. You said "okie dokie." That's it.
Did I?
Yeah.
I need to check that.
Text is in
Apparently
the world
drunk
of
Stuart.
text things you can send okie dokie.
It may not have been okie dokie, but it
I'm
was,
always checking it right
it
now.
was equivalent of okie dokie.
Oh, I said A-OK.
Oh yeah.
I said A-OK. I remember that.
That's
Like, how are you doing? A-OK.
And I'm like,
Same.
"Did you have fun? What happened after I dropped you off?"
I-
Silence.
That might have been after I gone to bed. I don't know. But I drank my water.
After you went to bed, that was like 2:00 the next afternoon.
You don't go to bed at 2 in the afternoon?
I typically do not.
I
Yeah,
I
me
went to
neither.
bed. I probably didn't read that message until the next day. I don't know.
Might
Whatever.
have still been placebo drunk. We don't
But-
know now.
So after the social gathering, I call it a frat party. We head back to McNair Hall where we live, except for Travis. For me to join in, like Friday nights usually is Star Wars RPG night.
Mhm.
It's where me, Brian, Noah, Zach, Mike, Nate, those guys,
a lot of the guys from
a lot of
Mach7,
guys,
yeah.
and some more besides. We sit down, we play Star Wars role playing game, which is a D20 system. It's kind of similar to Dungeons and Dragons, except it's Star Wars. And I play with them, and I come back with the intention to play. Mostly, I do is just sit down and is like, oh, I don't know how to feel right now. I feel like I should be contributing, but I'm not absorbing any of the words that they're saying.
So you just kind of sat back.
I
and
just
sponged.
sat back and just sat on the couch. I'm like, oh boy, I should be contributing. I'm not.
That's
Why
awesome.
am I contributing? I'm drunk, right?
That old story.
I didn't remember any of what they were saying, even though I was trying to listen at one point. But, so apparently some shit went down.
Oh, yeah.
So last week ended with, our crew landed on a planet, and there were 5 guys that came up on speeders, just, biker game shit. They were talking some trash. We talked some trash back. And we talked about this for a good 10 minutes. And I think Brian and Noah and Michael being here would make a great conversation for this. Notes for the future, Andrew.
I mean, if they want to be on it, they can
offer the opportunity.
The moral of the story is, apparently I started the fight.
Douche. He must not have been.
They were totally going to
He
start
must have
it if I
gone
didn't.
to a different stage of drunk Stuart at that point.
This was last week, though. Apparently, I started the fight, even though they were totally going to start the fight if one of us didn't. So we started that fight. We won that fight. That's where it ended last week. And this week, apparently, they called in a gunship.
Oh shit! They really.
Apparently, this whole town is run by a mafia boss or something called Bob.
Bob.
Everyone fears the name of Bob. And so they call in a gunship, and the rest of that encounter involves almost an entirely different set of characters, because there were some people there that weren't there last week who were there this week. I was not here this week. I was there last week. And so this week we have our Wookiee, and we have our pilot, and we have a bunch of other players to help fight this gunship, who are much more threatening than a bunch of guys on speeders. They hide in an abandoned building. The gunship starts wrecking some shit. Someone throws a thermal detonator and blows it up halfway. It still manages to stay in the air. This is after the gunship had dropped 6 soldiers, by the way. And so one of our Jedi on the team decides, I'm gonna force pull that sucker down and crash it. He crashes it into the building. Meanwhile, Noah, who threw the thermal detonator, was too close to the explosion, is unconscious at this point. And Michael, for whatever reason, he has a bow and arrow in Star Wars, because apparently there are primitive societies that you can play as.
Was it a laser bow and arrow?
No, just a bow and arrow.
So
he tries to shoot a guy who was about to shoot Noah, who was unconscious. Noah's unconscious. This guy's about to shoot him. And Michael says, I'm going to shoot this guy and I'm going to get this guy's attention and shoot him and try and save Noah. He gets a 1 on his attack roll.
Oh!
He confirms the fuck up. Rather than shoot the guy, or even shoot himself, he shoots Noah.
Nice.
He shot unconscious Noah, bringing him down to, I think, 1 hit point at that point.
That is so fantastic.
He was at 3, brought him down to 1.
Damn it, Caboose.
At that point, the soldier just can't help but start laughing. Apparently, he was going to laugh just by the fact that he was being threatened by a jackass with a bow and arrow.
In Star Wars.
But not only that, he shot his friend. So he was incapacitated for an entire round because he was laughing so hard. And that was enough time for them to save the day, some shit or another, I don't know. So, apparently I missed something.
Wow.
And my character is almost exclusively combat, so that would have been interesting if I was there. But, oh well. Jedi.
Well, did you have fun?
Up to a certain point.
Would you do it again?
Up to a certain point.
Good. I'll take you out again then.
Maybe. We'll see.
No, we will.
Maybe I'll be there.
No, you won't.
I won't.
We'll get Andrew out there.
No, I won't.
We'll get Ross going. He can have some birch beer. KBC serves great homemade soda.
Can I get some lemonade?
You told me that they served stuff for minors.
They do. Birch beer.
That's not what they told Maggie.
What did they tell Maggie?
They told they only serve beer.
No, they have birch beer, which is
soda. Non-alcoholic?
It's
soda?
It's homemade soda.
Okay, well,
and they serve Coke.
Birch beer can be alcoholic, but it depends on how you make it.
Not the KBC. It's totally...
That's moral of the story. Moral of the story, Maggie had to drink water because...
And they serve soda. They serve
I don't
everything.
see the problem.
I mean, they don't have fountain. They do, like, just hand you a bottle, but...
Miscommunication somewhere.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate for her. She can be on the podcast?
Probably not. She's not in Mach7.
All right.
I don't know.
Yeah,
whatever.
we can never bring anybody in.
Frail wasn't part of Mach7. He was on the podcast.
This week's special guest, Maggie.
Why not?
Ooh.
You want to tell your story now?
I was thinking about it, yeah.
Go ahead.
So, speaking of alcohol, I went to a wedding this past week.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Lord.
Was there an open bar?
There was an open bar.
Oh, boy.
The adults were real excited. I sat over
Except him.
I sat over by the smaller bar where, like, the Coke and the Sprite and the water was. And then I laughed at them because
Because if there isn't Coke at a wedding, what's the fun of being at a wedding?
Seriously, like, dude,
I
that
wanna
water
go
though.
to a wedding where it's open bar.
It was something.
I've never been to one yet.
I don't.
Well, I've been 21.
But sorry,
Good cook.
God dang it! I thought you were just making noises. I'll allow that joke. But yeah, so something really incredible happened, and I was telling Travis this that you guys probably won't think it's funny at all.
I don't know the story. He just told me that he
Yeah.
could tell a story.
The wedding was crashed by ninjas with guns, but they're still ninjas because they're dressed like ninjas, and the bride and groom had to run away and get away with jetpacks.
That would be the most
You're
incredible
supposed to
thing.
give it a silence there for a second.
I gave it like a second of silence.
We needed a little.
Oh, that was not sufficient silence.
You-
And
all right.
Travis, insert silence for this.
I'm going to do my best. I'm going to try
It's
to add
actually
silence for that, Ross.
incredibly easy to do on Audacity. Anyway, so before everyone gets too incredibly drunk and not too many people are dancing because the DJ was playing some music and stuff. At one point, he started playing "Baby Got Back." Right?
Uh-oh.
And you were like, "This is my jam."
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's my jam.
But no, that didn't happen.
Oh.
So
Travis is so disappointed.
we need to make,
so-
we need to make this real story and turn it into a fake real story. It's
no,
better than a fake real
that's
story.
I don't think so.
Head
So
cannons.
okay, so the reception hall is split by like the dance floor is in the middle, and then there were sets of tables on either side where people were eating dinner and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
probably bride side and then groom side, right?
No, it was more like friends on one side and then like family on the other.
Oh.
I don't know why. It was
That's
really
stupid.
It was really bizarre.
What about your family?
No, stop, Ross, please. But so my dad and I were at the table that's like right next to the dance floor on the side. So DJ starts playing "Baby Got Back." A guy and whoever he was dancing with, probably his girlfriend, I don't know. He walks off and he goes, "I'm too white for this."
Yes.
Like I look at my dad, like I just glance at him, and he looks at me, he starts smiling, and I just start cracking up so hard. I thought it was the funniest thing ever.
I'm too white for this.
That's good.
And now I'm gonna start using it in my everyday language. Just anytime
Andrew,
anything.
did you go pick up chicks at this wedding? Because I would definitely see you picking up chicks.
I tried,
Did you crash it?
not very hard because
I'm disappointed.
okay, so this is my cousin's wedding, and
Oh my gosh.
she's like 30 something.
So
So all of her friends were like 30 something, and they all were either married or engaged or something and had kids, and there was nobody there that was my age.
Or your height.
Or, well, yeah.
Older women. Yeah.
should have been going
no.
up and down home with me.
Experience.
Yeah, probably should have. Could have
this guy.
hooked up with someone. But so yeah, that was my whole story. I'm too white for this.
That's a good story.
Yeah.
It's a good way to end.
I thought it was pretty good. Should I tell my computer story or?
Oh yes, we need you because right now we need to know what software we're doing. So when I fuck it up hard,
We know who to blame.
Yeah.
It's not my fault.
So hard.
so hard.
So a
Hard.
couple days ago, I was watching YouTube on my computer
As you do.
I never did ask what happened.
at night, and I fell asleep with my computer on my bed.
Well, he was obviously. Were you watching the softcore stuff or the hardcore?
It was. I was watching that.
hardcore YouTube.
I was watching that.
Hard-
I was watching that
hardcore.
Bioshock video that Stuart was
Oh,
talking
so
about.
It was a hardcore playthrough
Yeah.
He's like, he's just a dirty mind. Keep your
But
mind
so-
with
Oh.
commentary.
So I fell asleep, and I woke up a while later. Like, I mean, I can't really tell time because I don't have any windows in my room.
Okay, so did you fall asleep with it still playing? Like, did it just keep playing other stuff? And did you recommend it just get fucked?
No. I mean, I think honestly, I was watching Achievement Hunter, so.
No, that's not so bad.
But
That's-
okay,
that's
so-
what you want to do.
I woke up to this
Plug.
this weird crashing sound, and I was like, "Oh, well, that's probably not good." I sort of feel around to the side of my bed where the computer was, and it's not there anymore. I'm like, "Oh, well, I'm just gonna go back to bed and deal with it in the morning." So I did,
I couldn't do that.
and I was kind of freaking out a little bit because this is exactly how my last computer died.
It was buried in the Wilkesburg Cemetery, third row, left column. Sunflowers.
Yeah, also sent help. It's actually not. I don't know where I was going with
Moving
that.
on.
That had fallen off. The previous computer had fallen off my bed several times, and the motherboard was like completely fried. So I had to get this new one. Well, now this has fallen off the bed. It must have fallen directly backwards with the cord, the power cord, still plugged in. And I wake up, I try to plug it back in, and it's not doing anything. And I'm like, oh, well, this isn't good. Because at this point, this computer is about 4 years old or so. The battery is goes for about 20 minutes before it dies. I'm like, I should have bought a new battery before now, but who has that kind of money? So
Aren't batteries pretty cheap?
No, they're really not. No, they're like $70 to $100 because you can get different kinds.
$20.
No,
Just a bit pricey.
so yeah, I wake up in the morning and I'm sort of examining it to see if I can fix it somehow. Could not fix it. I tried tearing it apart a little bit because so the power jack itself looked like it was just like pushed into the computer a little bit. And so I was like, maybe I can, push it back out if I get in the computer or something. I don't know. I'm dumb.
Did you hold down the power button?
I tried that, and then I tried turning it back on. That still didn't help.
Did you take it out and blow on it?
It only worked if I held the power cord in there like really hard and like kept the pressure on it.
That's not sufficient.
And that you can't really use a computer while you're doing that. So I'm like, oh great. So this sucks. So I'm like texting my dad at the same time, and I'm like, yeah. So the power jack's screwed up. Send help. But so basically, I just dropped the hint that I'm like, I'm gonna research how much it would cost to get it fixed or whatever, and then. But I'm kind of also looking, maybe what new computers cost nowadays. Just kind of dropping that hint, right, as you do. Then I didn't do anything with it that day. So the next day, I take it to Computer Mechanics. Would recommend, good place here in Houghton. They're basically like, computer jack, kill me. The DC jack is pretty much broken completely off of the motherboard.
It's fucked.
And and it's connected by like these 4 tiny pins.
Are they fucked too?
No. Well, I don't know. They didn't take it apart or anything because they don't have the equipment there to actually fix it because you need like micro soldering or something. That's what they said. So they're like, they gave me this sheet and they're like, here's the people we normally recommend you send this to. So I'm like, all right, this sucks. It says it costs $100 to send it to this place, plus whatever shipping and handling would be. Send it this place. They'll completely replace it and they'll have it back in a jiffy.
How long is a jiffy?
Well, they
2 to 4
say
weeks, probably.
Yeah. Well, on the paper it says they like as soon as they get it, they'll replace it and send it back out the next day. So, like the guy said, it was a turnaround of usually about a week. So I was like, all right, that's not too bad, but it does cost $100
Plus shipping.
plus whatever shipping would be. So I'm telling my dad this, and he's like, "Well, for my work, we get discounts for Dell computers." So let me just like shop around, see what might be out there. And I'm like, yes, get a new computer, early Christmas. And he said he would get back to me, and this was yesterday afternoon. Still has not gotten back to me, so I am without a computer for the foreseeable future, and it kind of sucks.
It really does. I honestly, looking back, I can't think of a time when I didn't have a computer that was happy.
I was seriously sitting in my room for about like 3 hours today before the meeting. Just like bored out of my mind because I'm like, I don't know what to do.
So with that being said, everybody should know that I'm taking the helm here
Yes.
as far as editing and everything goes. So hopefully it goes swimmingly.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
It probably won't.
No,
Let's face it.
Yeah.
it's gonna go rock.
'Cause then you have to
bomb.
you'll have to make the video, you'll have to
Yeah.
upload it, you have to make the link dump.
The link.
Of course.
That's your thing.
How can I make the link dump if I don't have the audio
How do
file?
I upload it?
We'll deal with that after.
You have to watch the
podcast.
tutorial.
Yeah,
Just
there's a
the whole
whole
tutorial.
thing.
Just
The
go
whole
over to
thing.
his place, help him out, do it step by step with him. Do the ghost, get behind him on the mold. You got to mold the clay, man. You got to mold the clay together.
Hold my hand.
I could
while
do that.
It's on the mouse right
I
here.
put my hand on your hand.
He lives
With
so
my lips
far
on your
away,
fingers.
though.
I do live far
I
away,
put my fingers.
but
on
I
your
have a nice
lips.
place.
It's true.
It's true.
And it smells just fine.
There's nothing wrong with it. It smells just fine.
Thank you. I have a nice place.
But yeah, so that's my wedding and computer story, and that's all I had to talk about.
That's all there is.
And that's
There
it.
isn't any.
I had a good story, but I'm going to share it for next week.
Yeah? Are we about at time?
Yeah, we are well at that time.
Nice.
So who would like to do the outro?
Don't you fucking look at me again. I swear to God.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to you about casting, but that will have to be for another time.
We can talk about it now. I think now is probably the best time. Just real
I
quick.
think, yeah, absolutely. Take your time. I mean, I can edit this however I want.
We don't have any time limits, so screw it.
So I can
That
take the whole thing
sounded
about.
so threatening.
Well, I can take out whatever good points he had about Destiny out. So
Or even better, you could take what I did say, edit it out so that I was saying something completely different.
There we go.
Absolutely.
Like
Perfect.
Like
How much time do we have, though?
As long as we want.
Oh, okay.
There's no time limit. I'm not Gus. We don't care.
So this week, we at the Mach7 meeting, we were doing some casting for 7. You know, as you do when you're making a series, you got to have voices for them. So we had a couple of casting sessions. Probably could have been handled better. Probably could have been better organized. I think it went okay. I just feel like I know it might be a little selfish or crazy to say. I kind of wish we had a bigger pool to pull from, considering we had maybe 15 people to work with, and very few of them, I'll be honest, are good with the script.
No, you're not wrong there.
But there are some people who work really well for certain parts, and I think it's going to go pretty well.
Yeah.
And I have about 5 hours of audio to go through.
Have fun with that.
To solidify my decisions. I got a few already picked out though,
Good.
but Jesus H Christ, when you have to find voices for 34 characters, 30 of them are named, and will be returning for more than one scene. It's a whole thing. It's oof.
Now, you said you don't think it was well organized. Why do you say that?
It was really haphazard. I mean, one thing that I did when planning all of this was I typed out all of the characters that needed to be voiced, and I typed out a quick list of, and I put next to all those names everyone who I think might be good for that, off the top of my head, and then on the back of that I had a little schedule to go by. Like I had some scenes picked out to read for the casting. And we went down a schedule like, okay, you two do this scene, and then we'll do this scene with these 2 other people, and then we'll move on to a different scene, and we'll get everyone done with that, and then we'll get anyone else who wants to try for these afterwards. That was the intention. Did not go according to that plan entirely. It was more like looking at my list. Okay, this person's not here. This person's here. You and fuck it, you try. They do the scene, and then, okay, now I want to try this combination of people, and shit, you just read already, and then, shit, he's not here either. And then, you 2 do these lines. It did not go according to plan. And then after we got through the assigned, or, planned schedule of one scene, I would say, okay, who else wants to try for this? Because waiting to the very end to get to people who want to try for different lines, that's not going to happen. It's not going to work. It's not going to work out for anybody. Yeah. So I say, who wants to try for this? 6 people want to try for this. Well, fuck. I tried sending out emails saying, hey, we're continuing casting this next week. Were there any characters you connected with? Were there any characters you really want to try for? Any characters that you really think you really want to lend your voice to? Travis was the only person to respond to that. Really? The only person out of a mailing list of maybe 40 people and maybe 20 people who were at the last casting call, which that was rather impressive. B was awesome.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she wasn't here this week, which kind of shat on my parade. I'm going to try and be contacting like everybody and, asking them specific questions like, how long do you plan to be at school? How long can you commit a week? How interested are you in doing this? Are you still interested in doing other things with Mach7? Because some people showed up just because of the casting call. I don't know if they'll be back for anything but casting or voicing, which is really scary. It's really scary. Yeah. Kyle, please stay. You're really cool.
Kyle.
All right.
He was the dude wearing the Epona pony shirt.
He's got
the guy who was sitting next to me. Okay.
Yeah, that guy. He's pretty cool.
He came in at one point last semester, didn't he? I thought he did.
Yes. Did.
I feel like he'd
a
fit
few
in.
meetings, but
he'd probably fit in pretty well.
Why is Rich never there?
Noah?
Yes.
Noah?
I guess he's just sort of lost interest in the most of the stuff. You know what? I want to say that he wasn't to these last 2 meetings because he was there last week. He was there.
He made it for a meeting. I've seen him here for a meeting, and that was it.
I think he was there last week for like an hour or so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But why is he not there? He used to be there regularly.
Because he hates us.
It might be because we're focusing almost entirely on 7, and he doesn't feel that he can contribute much to 7, or he doesn't want to contribute too much to 7.
Did he contribute to GSO?
Yeah, he was Private Barry.
Or was it Luke?
No, he was Barry.
Barry.
No, Michael was
Barry.
Michael was.
But I think he and Brian, he and Brian are pretty much the two who are working on the space engineers stuff. Those two are doing most of that work together. I'm trying to do a lot of building for them because I have the most experience with space engineers, and I like to think that I've done the most building in space engineers. Probably have though. And so between the three of us, we've done almost nothing.
All right.
We've built a few ships. We've done a couple of. We've built a few ships. That's most of what we've done. We made
more than a few space phalluses.
We need to talk about the freaking space penises at some point. Maybe we'll leave that for next week. Maybe we'll talk about that now. Okay,
we finally got Abby to swear.
That was
surprised. Nobody else was clapping.
We didn't get her to do that. That was entirely by accident.
Right.
Also, it wasn't recorded, so there's no proof.
Yeah. It didn't actually happen.
She wasn't
with space engineers, mostly what we have is a nice big ship called the Stingray. It's a diplomatic ship with it's sort of a sea ship design. You know, it's got the prow on the front. It's got a pretty long and elegant design, and it has 40 rocket launchers on either side, on both sides.
Yeah, diplomacy.
Mm-hmm. We built a couple of fighters, lovingly called the Black Hawk, and I built a transport. Yeah, and then the transport I built for them, I'm calling the Space Turtle because it kind of looks like a turtle.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
I'll allow it.
Things and stuff. Brian's working on a hangar. I'm thinking about designs for another ship to be the actual ship that everyone's working on.
Is anybody working on a story?
Brian has a framework for a story worked out.
Oh, fantastic!
That I will let him. Brian, yeah, and it's actually pretty good. It's pretty good for comedy's sake. He's got 4 character bios for the main 4 guys and 3 guys and a girl. Canned peaches. That's all I'm going to say about that. I'll let Brian explain everything if he ever comes on. If not, I'll explain for him.
He doesn't seem that interested in the podcast, so
I'll talk to him about it.
Michael seemed to be excited about it, but he hasn't.
Yeah.
If Michael ever comes on, that's when I have to talk to him about his space penis.
You gonna tell him about his space penis?
Okay, you know what? Fuck it. I'm talking about the space penis.
All right.
So,
in for the long haul, ladies and gentlemen.
Seriously.
Tell people about it.
Keep going.
No.
It's 9:30. I have homework and writing that I should be doing.
Go.
This is all about Travis's schedule, Stuart, not yours.
I'm actually pretty hungry. I might order Trader John's later. Oof.
Tell your space penis story. You have me.
So
the suspense is killing me.
I
want to know about your space penis.
You had him at Space Phallus.
Yes.
Penis. So in Space Engineers, one of the main things is that it's basically a mashup of Minecraft and Kerbal Space Program in that it's basically Minecraft in space. You build ships block by block, you mine for resources from asteroids, and the point of the game is to build stuff. There's no real goal to it. It's just open world, well, space, and you just build stuff. There's a survival world and a creative option. And so Michael is new to the game. No, you know what? I'm going to start with Zach. Zach and Michael are both new to Space Engineers. They just got it. To help with the Space Engineers' possibility of machinima. And so they get to building their first ships. What do you think when there are guns in a game and you can build anything? You go, I'm going to build something with guns. Everyone does it, don't lie. So Zach decides, guns are too mainstream. I'm going to build a ship that rams shit. And so he builds a ship that has basically a nose cone made of heavy armor, which that's pretty effective. Ramming shit is actually pretty effective in Space Engineers, but it'll also destroy yours pretty effectively.
Makes sense.
So Zach found out about the magic that is artificial gravity in Space Engineers. With the combination of 2 blocks, the gravity generator and the artificial mass block, your ship is now affected by gravity. Guess what? You can drive ships that way. Mostly forward or backward, depending on which way you want to go. But the point is, you can make ships go really fast when they really have no right to be with a gravity drive. And so Zach builds this cylindrical ship that has a core of just gravity generators and cubes that, I'm just going to say this right now, if you turn that on, it would get from 0 to the max speed the game will allow in about a second, if that. It's kind of terrifying, if you ever finish it. But, so the point of this ship, in Zach's exact words, would be to penetrate through ships.
God.
It's supposed to go really fast and plow through ships.
You broke Travis.
And it's
Over and over again?
And it's shaped like a penis. And it doesn't help that he took his partially finished design, copied it into his own world, and started a new design that was colored bright pink.
Absolutely, it should be.
And he did not get space penis until I mentioned it. So, what you
I don't
building
believe
there?
that. There's no way that couldn't have been intentional.
You have not met Zach. Zach is just that dumb.
I mean, is this the Zach that was in Mach7 for a while?
Yeah.
I have met Zach, actually.
Yeah.
You're wrong.
He's that dumb.
All right. I'll allow it.
So then Michael... Oh, Michael.
So this pink one, was it like a space toy then?
Shut up.
Not going there.
He never actually finished it, and it was more pyramid-shaped than phallic-shaped, on the front at least. But dear Christ, it was hilarious to make him say, "No, it's not a space penis. Shut up." And then he scrapped it, and we all laughed at him.
Oh.
Although it does sound like there's other people who have discovered the space penis.
So Michael, and I'm just going to say that this is completely independent of anyone else's designs. This is something that Michael made of his own volition.
Knowing Michael, he wouldn't do it.
He wouldn't do it intentionally.
No.
So Michael, the original concept was he would build a pod for Zach's ship that would go from Zach's ship and into the enemy ship, and it would be a troop transport. It's a troop transport, which is a thing. I've had some ideas for a design of my own, but then eventually he decided, forget making it a pod off of Zach's ship. I'm going to make it into my own ship.
Okay.
He is broken again.
It's shaped like a little sperm.
Technical difference.
Reboot.
So
It
almost
definitely is.
almost verbatim. I don't remember his exact words, but pretty much the purpose of this ship is to ram the opposing ship, penetrate its hull, and deposit men inside the ship.
Yes.
That is the point of the ship.
Yes.
To go in and put little men on the ship. To penetrate and deposit.
I can imagine.
It is phallic shaped. It is rather bulbous on the end in comparison to the length of the ship. It has 3 testicles that are the engine bays. And I am not making up any of this.
I love it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I can imagine like the captain of that ship, like that being his like war cry or something.
Penetration
and deposit. Penetrate and deposit. That'd be fantastic.
Prepare for penetration speed. Don't you mean rhyming speed, sir? Shut up.
Absolutely not. Prepare for depositing.
If you guys ever
Sure, do we have protection? Of course.
Always use protection. They all have helmets. It's fine.
This needs to be in the space engineer's suit.
Oh, no.
We don't have to hit it on the head, but it has to be somewhere.
He said head and hit.
But it has to be somewhere in it.
It's a bit racy. I don't know.
Oh boy. There's also plans. Like I built this ship called the Stonewall,
We've seen it.
and everyone agrees that at some point when the characters get onto a Stonewall class ship, the captain needs to be named Jackson,
Of course.
and he can't understand the joke.
Who doesn't understand the joke? Zach?
What?
Oh, the captain.
Jackson.
You,
Stonewall
apparently.
Jackson will
No,
not
I understand the joke, but I
joke.
know who
Stonewall
couldn't
Jackson.
understand the joke.
Captain Jackson. What, you mean like Stonewall Jackson? What the fuck are you talking about?
Who's that?
Who's that? What year is it? What year is it, motherfucker? I don't understand references back in the day. I don't know. So we have plans, sort of, but we're not quite acting on them because I am so fucking busy all the time. And Brian and Noah and Zach and those guys, I don't know what they do. I
No one
mostly
does.
hang out with them when we have free time. Which, last time we watched Snowpiercer, that was a thing. That's a dark movie. It's a great movie. You should go watch that. Oof.
All right.
So, outro.
I think that's the podcast.
Who would like to do it?
So I'm not drunk.
No? Are you
But-
sure?
I kind of feel like I was
Nice.
on the inside. And maybe next week we might get a little drunk. We might get a little drunk from time to time, but we'll always find our way home. Right, Travis?
Absolutely.
You two
I'll
go
walk
for
you
your
home.
Good night, everybody.
I'll carry you home.
Good night, everybody.
Go ahead.
I'm so nervous. Whoa. Whoa. Okay.
What are your first thoughts, Stuart?
Whoa. This isn't bad.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What are your first thoughts?
Oh, happy.
Yeah, alcohol's great, huh?